have my notes and everything from the last show, so we can go in any direction. And this is cool because I get to make little corrections for things I said wrong the first time.
Yeah. Well, I thought maybe you would want to get the information out in a different way, you know,
Yeah.
and be interviewed with it too. I just I listened to your show. Well, I've listened to it a few times, and listened to you speak on some other broadcasts as well. And I just really like I
Oh, you're
you.
a fan.
I no, I mean I'm not like I'm not like a fan like that. I mean
A groupie. Okay, a groupie. Better still.
No, am I a groupie? I hope I'm not a groupie. But I just, I like to look at other people's work and what they say, and um, you know, so yeah, I'm a
Great.
groupie.
Okay, well, hopefully we can have some fun with this. So,
Yeah, I think we will. It's gonna be a good
all
show.
right. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to it.
So,
Okay, what do we got? 10 minutes roughly.
mm, do you want me to call you back closer to time? Do you need a
Oh
little
no,
bit more preparation?
I'll just mute and I'll just be standing by.
Okay.
All right. So, in fact, I'll be right now, and I'm gonna run around, make myself a piece of toast or something, and I'll be right here.
Okay, that sounds great.
All right.
Okay.
what you need to look like and what you're going to be accepted. I know the way the world is. Believe me, I know. Father Philip told me when I was a little girl, he said, Tammy, he goes, if you go to the office working with people and looking like you just literally don't know anything about being dressed, people are not going to respect you. And he's like, but Father Philip, I don't want to look like that. But Father Philip, I don't want to do my nails. But Father Philip, I hate makeup. I could not stand it. Then my family, of course, always thought there was something wrong with me, even my father, because I did not know how to dress myself. I didn't. I was very extremely, like, not into the fashion industry very well. I didn't know how to handle that department very good. But point is that I had to learn it. I am, like I told you guys at the beginning of the show, I'm a victim of it as well. And I had to sit there and learn how to dress, look, walk, talk, to be a certain look, to be able to be here, to connect with you guys in the office, and being here to help. Just so I can help you guys, I have to be professional. That I didn't get, but I get it now because I see how vain and how materialistic and how this world is such an extremely interesting society that we live in today. Open your eyes, guys. And I'm not saying, and God never said and the angels never said it's important to be dirty, smelly, uncleansed. That's not what I mean at all. It's very important to take care of yourself. Take care of your teeth. Take care of your body. Love your body. But it is not okay for you to condemn and to criticize and to look down upon yourself and to constantly be humiliated or embarrassed of who you are because the rest of the world thinks that you're not perfect. It is so important for you to allow yourself to truly love who you are and to have complete confidence in who you are and to take care of yourself. Take care of yourself from head to toe. Today is about vanity. Today is about you learning to love yourself. Today is about sacrifice and about releasing the sufferings and the tribulations and the disruptions that we've been going through and letting all that go. Right now is about starting over. Let it go, guys. Let it all go. And give it up to the universe and say, I'm done. I'm done with the trials and tribulations. I'm done with the sufferings. I'm done with the struggles. Please open the doors to happiness and harmony and peace and love in my life. Ask for this, and it will come. Now is the time for that. I know the universe is aligned, and there are certain things that are set up to be able to help these doors open. Next week is going to be an awesome week. There's a lot of things we're going to talk about more. There's actually some stuff that we need to talk about that's pretty significant about helping to teach you guys and even guided meditations, which is going to be awesome. So definitely listen in, and let's try to see what we can do about getting in some callers. I'm going to try to have a little bit more organization so I can be able to read inside the chat room, be able to accept phone calls. Today it's a little bit difficult because I'm, again, doing it by myself, so I don't really know how to go back and forth and do it all by myself very well. But the thing is, doors are opening and things are changing. And next week, I want to get you guys on air, talk to you guys, have you guys call in, accept the phone calls, know how to do this, and even answer you guys back inside the chat room. I apologize if you guys had questions and I didn't get to you guys. It's kind of hard to talk and focus on what it is that they're telling me at the same time of going in the chat room and listening to everything. But it makes me very happy. I'm your host, Tammy Adams, talking with your angels here on Revolution Radio at Freedom.
Server not coming up for you, huh?
Yeah, it's acting up right now.
Was that Robin Falco who's on right now?
It was talking with your angels.
Yeah, she needs to lead conversation, probably something like that.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and mute, but I would try hanging up and doing it again or contacting her.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you. This is the first time this has ever happened to me.
Why am I not surprised that it's gonna happen now? Huh?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Most can't have anything to do with what we're gonna talk about.
Oh, really?
This is the biggest secret in the world. They don't like people talking about this stuff.
Oh, wow. All right. I'm on the edge today.
Yeah, you are.
Ah, come on. I'm not connecting here. Oh, shit.
Your accountant
There we go.
balance is 0. Please come back when you can afford to make your purchase. I'm sorry you're having trouble. I'm sorry you're having trouble.
Revolution Radio. Here at Revolution Radio, we believe in freedom of ideas and freedom of speech. Above all, we believe in freedom of existence and self-reliance. This station is 100% listener supported, and as a fundraising promotion, I have a kick-ass free gift of $100 donation. 35,000 CDs. 25 years in the freezer. Long-term storable, 54 different varieties. So if food prices go crazy, hits the fan, or if you just want to save tons of money every year by creating your own food like I do, grab our seed pack special. Just look for the banner on the homepage at freedomslips.com. Don't be a statistic. Don't be part of the problem. Be part of the solution. We need, as humans, to start taking care of ourselves and not depending on the mega corps to provide unhealthy, nasty food. Included in this package is also DVD with 900 survival and off-grid living documents, and the offline home canning how to do everything website all on the DVD. So when you're growing all that food, you know how to can it, store it, preserve it, etc. with all these documents. So thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I hope you will pick up this package and start learning to be free. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, where information never sleeps. Freedom is one seed. What are we doing live? Here goes in the sun.
You see, I grew up in America. I grew up in a land where phrases like, I have a dream, meant something. I grew up where I believed that freedom existed, that that's what I was fighting for, that our founding fathers made America the land of the free and the land of the brave. This is America, damn it, and I'm taking it back.
And now your host, Terry Joyce.
Hey, welcome to the Freedom of Joyce show. Thank you so much for being here today. And today is the freedom of knowledge. And we have, I'm so excited to introduce our guest here in a moment and go into this topic. As he says, it is the information that people don't really want to get out. And it's the one of the hottest and the biggest secrets that are out there. So I'm really excited to explore today's show and the topic and the guests that we have. Before we start, though, we are listener supported. So here at Revolution Radio, and all of us are volunteers. Here, hosts do not get paid, but we do bring some wonderful knowledge and entertainment for you. And we have a great chat line. And also, I'm giving a shout out to the people in the chat line. Please do ask questions in the chat line, and we will be taking calls in the second hour. I've only had like one caller, the same person, twice on my show. But I do believe that eventually there will be more callers. So please do feel free to give us a call later on, and I will be putting that number out to you later. So again, we are listener supported, so please do give us a donation to keep us going here, and go to our website and click onto the donation button. And I'm thanking you already because I'm pretty sure that somebody heard this and they already donated. So thank you very much. Before I bring on our guest, I do want to go into a little bit of my own topic here. I was actually, sometimes I watch mainstream television. I hate admitting this. I usually get very, very annoyed, and basically my annoyance is inspiring me to talk about what I'm talking about. And I also like to tune into them to see what disinformation is actually being put out there upon us, and what it is that maybe the general public believes is truthful, and what is going on and how we're being manipulated. I'm always astounded by how we are being manipulated. And so I watched that show with Kathy Lee Gifford where they have a glass of wine, and she has that lady Hobart, Hoagie, or Hogue, a strange name that's her best friend, and sometimes they're lushes and they just give news of nothing that means nothing whatsoever. Now I think maybe they've toned them down because there's just a glass of wine there, but nobody really picks it up. So they have the image of being luscious, but they're not really luscious anymore, I suppose. But one of the things that they did mention was that there's a reality series where this guy pretends to be Prince Harry, and Prince Harry has all these women think that they're going to marry Prince Harry eventually someday, and it's a look-alike. It's somebody who's pretending to be Prince Harry, but because Ryan Seacrest says it is Prince Harry, people believe it, which is unbelievable to me, and it's surprising to me that women still believe that they're prince, or that they could even marry a prince. First of all, you don't have the right DNA. It's not about having the glass slipper that fits your foot. It's about having the right DNA so that you don't spawn, so that the child looks human. And I know that might sound crazy, but it's not what Disney told us. So I just find it interesting that there's a reality show that's happening, and this is on, and I have to admit, I fancy myself to be a little bit of a reality television whistleblower, being that I have been a participant in reality television, because I was on a show back in 2003 when reality television was having its big boom, called Last Comic Standing. And we lived in a house and there were cameras everywhere, and a lot of people have asked me, they'll say, well, Terry, what was it like to be on a reality show? And this is what it's like. Being on a reality show feels like a journey through the pupil of the eye of Horus. The experience reminded me of a 70s film about the Depression era titled "They Shoot Horses, Don't They?" Okay, this is what reality television is really all about. It's about 100 rats who are sick of being on the rat wheel, only to stop occasionally for a mere pellet and a sip of water. 100 rats compete to get a grand pellet worth $1 million in a development deal to have the rat sitcom of the century. Eventually, there are 10 rats left standing. Now we get to watch each rat pick at each other in a controlled game of Darwinism Level 3, Who's the Funniest? My point is, can't we all just be funny? And, reality television perpetuates the belief system of I win, you lose, and it's survival of the fittest means how much of your personal and moral integrity are you going to give up to have it all? And then the machine edits the show and calls it reality television. So I just wanted to put that out there, that it is the programming that is keeping us dumb, and it's actually making us believe that Prince Harry is going to marry you. And what things will these women do? How will they monopolize or scream at each other or rip each other's eyes out just to get some royal lovin'? Anyway, enough on that topic there. But I want to bring Prince Harry around in the conversation because he does kind of play with this topic. He just recently I just read some stuff on him where he, as a matter of fact, on the show with Kathy Lee Gifford, they announced that Prince Harry was doing some sort of trip to the Antarctic near the South Pole. And my question and he got blisters on his feet, and oh, isn't this great? He's like with a troop of people to the Antarctic, and it's like, well, what is he doing out in the Antarctic? Is he looking for Nashwabenland? And so, my guest is going to be able to explain more about that. There have been according to his research, and also it's not the first time I've heard of it, but there are bases, Nazi bases in the Antarctic, and that they have ET connections, and all of this may have an explanation for the missing plane, and the missing Malaysia plane, and everything else that could be happening right now. So this is really cutting edge information, and I'd like to welcome my guest to the show, Stephen D. Kelly. He also has a show here on Revolution Radio, and welcome to the show, Stephen.
Hi, Terry. Thanks for having me.
Oh, great! I'm really happy to have you here. So you did a show on this topic already, and I've listened to it a couple of times. And where should we start at in terms of the research? I think you know where to go first on this.
Well, when I did the show, the first thing I started out with was Operation High Jump, because that is certainly a historical event that took place that people can trace back to, and they can do a little research, and they can work back from there. But Operation High Jump was what some people might call the last battle of World War II, but it was here in the United States. It was kind of sold to the public as a exploration adventure, kind of like a Jacques Cousteau go play with penguins sort of thing. But make no mistake, it was led by Admiral Byrd, and he was certainly very famous as a polar explorer, but he was also a military man, and he flat out said to the public that this was a military mission. And they took a big armada of ships and men and planes down to Antarctica, and it was supposed to be a 6-month mission, and it only lasted 2 months, and they came back with half the planes gone, one of the ships sunk, and a bunch of men dead. And so obviously there's something happening besides playing with penguins.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're saying that there's bases in the Antarctic, and that that the Earth is hollow, and that it's only about a 200-mile radius apart.
I'm glad you brought that up, because
Yeah.
I know on the last show I was saying that the crust, you had to go down about 200 miles to get to the inside. It's actually about 800 miles. Okay, so that's a little more logical, but yeah, you go down, I guess the gravity only goes down about 400 miles. It's in the center, and then you keep going another 400 miles and you come out on the other side. It's kind of like a big geode, if you want to think of it like that.
It's really fascinating to think that may actually be what our Earth is like.
Yeah, yeah. And it's probably, we run around, we look at these, we use telescopes, and we look at all these planets out there, and we see no sign of life. Well, that's because all the intelligent life lives on the inside. We think we're so advanced here living on the surface with all the animals and the plants and everything. Well, guess what? The real intelligent life is living on the inside.
And so now these people, the intelligent life that is living on the inside, who are they?
Well, our recorded history only goes back so far. Obviously the Bible is a good reference for the last 10, 20,000 years, but we have myths and stories about previous civilizations such as Atlantis and what have you. But that's it. These were surface-dwelling civilizations. We talk about Shambhala and Agartha and some other civilization like this. These were actually civilizations from the inside that are very, very old and have been around for a long time. There's probably multiple types of species that are living there, and I suspect every time the Earth has one of these 20,000 year resets, transitions or passes through the solar belt, whatever it is, that we have a oh gosh, how do you say it? We have a polar shift and things like that, and life on the surface kind of gets wiped out. And this happens on a regular basis every 20,000 years or something like that. And these entities that are living on the inside will actually come to the surface and rescue portions of these civilizations down below so that they can continue. And so we suspect that this is probably what happened to Atlantis. They were probably, their civilization was taken down below. And it's very possible that the same thing happened with the Nazis, if you want to look at it that way.
Oh, so are you saying like after are we going into World War II?
Well, obviously Hitler and the Nazis were very interested in trying to research what they believed was the ancient history of the Aryan race and all this, and this had to do with blonde giants and all that kind of thing. And a lot of that, what it really boils down to is that what he was looking for was this signs of the civilization and connections to these people in inner Earth. And we know that the Nazis ran around and did a lot of research and tried to dig up the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant and all various different ancient artifacts and records, of course. But one of the most important pieces of artifacts that they were able to locate was this ancient map from this Turkish explorer named Piri Reis. And this map shows Antarctica without any ice. And apparently it's a very, very accurate map. And they used this map to locate special passageways and underwater places for their submarines to explore under the ice cap. So yeah, I guess the idea is that they did find their way down inside. They did make contact with these entities that are living on the inside of the Earth that are obviously been there for a very long time. And I suspect that because of the destruction of what was going on in Germany, these entities may have perceived that the Germans were on their way to being wiped out, and so that they were taken inside, just like they did with the people from Atlantis many thousands of years ago.
Oh wow! I've heard of the possibility of life in the inner Earth. Although the sources that I heard from before, I mean, you hear things, you're like, it's a nice thought, and it does sound like it would be plausible. But I'm really, I don't know. The more you've described it, the more it makes sense to me that it's definitely a possibility. And I've always felt, or I've had an inclination, I've researched a little bit about, I've been curious about the ET connection and the Nazi Party.
Well,
And
that's that is a really important subject, because we know that the Nazis had societies. The Vril Society was one of them, and gosh, I can't think of the other one right now.
I think it's the Thule Society.
Thule Society, right?
Yeah.
Thule. These organizations were very much involved with trying to develop psychic skills and communicating with extraterrestrials for the purpose of obtaining advanced knowledge to advance the country. But the thing is, though, is that I do believe that they did make contact with possibly Pleiadian life forms, possibly even the Greys. I know that Hitler, that there's a lot of discussion of whether or not he had a treaty with the Greys or if he was indeed dealing with reptilians or Pleiadians. But when we talk about the entities, humans, or whatever they are that are living on the inside of the Earth, we don't really want to think of them as extraterrestrials per se, because technically they've been here longer than we have. So I don't know, what do you call those, terrestrials or terra sapiens or something like that?
Oh, I've never heard that term before. Are you making it up?
No, who does that? I mean, it was one of the the last Indiana Jones movies, I think, is when they came up with that term. But,
Okay.
Anyway.
Of course, it's Hollywood.
Right. Now, but the thing is, though, is that, the Germans tried to tell everybody that the Aryans were the master race and all of this sort of thing. And in a way, they were sort of correct. But what it's really all about is that the Aryans, these white, blonde, blue-haired types, it's not that they're the master race per se. It's more like they were the prototype of humans that were here on the Earth, and that the humans that we have today, the various different ethnicities, species that we have running around today, are basically what you could almost consider as upgrades to the modern, to the original Aryan. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with the original Aryan prototype human, but typically, if you look at it as a computer program, and you look at the Aryan as sort of a Rev A, Rev 1, the upgrades were basically intended to introduce aspects, immunities, and various biological improvements per se. And every time this was done, it was almost like restarting the program from start. So if you remove the time factor, because everybody thinks that we move along this nice, straight, linear, forward progression of time path, it doesn't really work that way. It's almost like reality can go from the beginning to the end. The creator can look and say, well, that worked out pretty good, but let's start it over, and only this time I'm gonna tinker with the program a little bit, and it goes over and over and over again. And every time we have different change to the human, the basic human form, that's what it is. It's an upgrade or a revision to the original program. And the thing is that what you got to remember is that in terms of having all of these ethnicities here on the Earth is so that we can all combine and all gain the benefits of all the different immunities and what have you that the different ethnicities have to offer each other. So when you see groups such as the Zionists, of course, are very much like that, and the Nazis are too, are very much like that. When you look at these two groups, they represent two sides of a coin, and they seem to be complete polar opposites, and yet they both say that the humans shouldn't mix and this and that. So the reality is that yes, mixing is exactly what we're supposed to be doing.
Oh, that's good news. Because we do, I mean, society-wise, we still have a lot of prejudices. I'm actually of mixed race, and several different. I've got some Latin blood, and culturally that was a big deal when I was born. But I have to say I've only had one childhood disease. I had the chicken pox, and I have a very high immune system to a lot of exposures. I have, and I've never had a cavity either. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it makes sense because like when you mix dogs, aren't they better? I mean, the more you inbreed, the weaker the species, right?
Yeah, that's true. So yes, certainly it makes us healthier. And then if you look at a homogenous society, if you take like Japan or China or any kind of a country like that, where the people are pretty much all of the same basic DNA structure, they're also very susceptible to disease and stuff that would hit one group. If the whole group is all the same, they're all related practically, they're all going to go down. So yes, there's definitely an advantage to being a melting pot.
But why, I mean, in your opinion, why is it they're trying to hold their bloodline so pure and not be mixed? I mean, why are they doing the opposite?
Well, I think that, and of course, this is going to be based on my spiritual beliefs, but I think that ultimately the improvement of the species and the strengthening of the species is a good thing. And so if you look at an entity, if you try to decide who benefits from trying to hurt the humans, I'd say that's the dark side. So yeah, the dark side is definitely behind this whole effort to destroy the humanity and weaken us.
That's just And you know what I find interesting is what time might really be, and that it's not linear. And I did listen to your broadcast about this subject before, and you were saying that they've been manipulating time, so that we work harder and that our lives are shortened. So, and with these people, I mean, are we talking about, who are we talking about doing this, manipulating time?
Well, if you look at the powers that be, clearly there's been some changes. A lot of people out there have been trying to say that the world is being run by a Zionist cabal, and some other people understand that there's actually a Nazi component. But if you go back far back in time, then yeah, it is the dark side. But if you look at who's running the show here in the United States, it is a combination of the Nazis and the Zionists, and they both have their own access to ancient knowledge and technology, and certainly they've made their treaties with the little aliens. We had our treaty in Roswell, and of course the Nazis probably had another treaty with these entities that took place during World War II. But the technology that they're using to manipulate time is certainly something that they got as a result of this treaty that was made in Roswell.
Oh.
So the little gray guys that they made the treaty with basically said, look, you Earth has got something much worse to worry about. And they were trying to tell us that we were going to be invaded by some sort of negative group of entities, and I believe that they would have us believe that these invaders are actually going to be reptilian in nature, and I don't know if that could be the Anunnaki or what returning. But the thing that I